59 knockouts, over 80-something wins. So hell of a career. He made his UFC debut, which interestingly should have been bigger news. You know, if a boxer that had had a professional fight, 100 professional fights came over to the UFC, that would be big news, especially in the light of Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. You know, but this guy coming over didn't really make any headlines or anything like that. But he had a good performance, good solid performance. You know, his kickboxing was certainly on display. He won by knockout in the first round, but actually nearly got finished himself at the end of the first round because, you know, kickboxers, I don't think are used to going to those 5-minute length rounds. They do 3 minutes. And those last 2 minutes, he really started to gas. And his opponent, De Lima, I think it was, Enrique De Silva, pardon me, hit him with some good knees, couple of elbows. He looked a bit wobbled. And his opponent, Enrique De Silva, he got a little carried away and got a little overconfident. See, what happens is when you're fighting somebody and they're against the ropes and they're hurt and they're injured, you start thinking, shit, yeah, here we go. You get excited, you look for the finish, but you forget, well, not everybody, but often people forget to hold on. You've still got to defend yourself. And he got carried away, and then Gokhan Saki came back with a huge left hook, put him down, and the referee stopped the fight. Then we had the co-main event, Claudia Gadelha versus Jessica Andrade. Did you see this fight, Lewis?
Yeah, I did, but I didn't watch the Gokhan Saki fight now, and I'm watching it. Holy shit, that was an awesome fucking knockout. Sorry, yeah. I got a little distracted watching this just now. He actually had a lose. He'd only had one other MMA fight, and he lost that other MMA fight. So it's pretty crazy that he was able to get into the UFC coming off of I guess he had one.
Yeah, but no, he had one MMA fight about 10 years ago, I think.
Okay,
so about 10 years ago in some shitty organization. Since then, I mean, he's fought everybody in the kickboxing world, even fought Alistair Overeem a couple of times. So Gokhan Saki was coming into this with a big reputation and got the job done. Well done. UFC debut, first round knockout. Can't do better than that. Okay, he had a couple of wobbly moments.
Let me ask you a question. It's just about kickboxing in general, because you did professional kickboxing for a while. Why is it that like Muay Thai and kickboxing hasn't been able to catch on in the United States? Like, nobody really gives a shit. But when you really look at it, it's the most exciting portion of MMA. It's the kicks and the punches. It's almost like, if you're going to be into boxing, why wouldn't you be into kickboxing as well? I understand if you're not into grappling and that aspect you don't understand, but nobody really gives a shit about Muay Thai or kickboxing.
You know, that's a very, very good question, and it's weird because, I mean, at the top of the show, you were saying about, you know, guys like John Fitch, Jake Shields, etc., being forced out of the UFC due to their style. Now, you know, the contrast of that is the kickboxers, punches, kicks, knees, and elbows. And the good kickboxing fights, the K1 stuff, that level is extremely exciting. And, of course, Glory came out to America recently. They used to show it on Spike TV, and it was doing okay for a while, ratings-wise I'm talking about. The show was great. You know, the excitement level was there. But I don't know. It just never caught on. I don't know if it was the promoters. I don't know if it was the public. But it is the most exciting element of it for me.
I think it would have to be the promoter. You would have to look at the production of it. Somebody has to be able to package that in a way that makes people want to watch it. I think that's the thing.
K1 in Japan was absolutely huge. K1, you know, the stand-up aspect of it, you know, not K1 Dynamite or Heroes, any of that. K1 legit was massive in Japan, you know, and there was a lot of money to earn, but it just never really took off. I mean, a friend of mine, Daz Morris, my Muay Thai coach, he promotes probably the biggest and best Thai boxing event in Europe, and he does that, I don't know, every 2-3 months, and it's always a packed house. And he has a, you know, for a smaller show, a good production. You know, they have smoke and lasers, all that shit when people walk out. And they have world title fights, and they have some of the best Thai boxers in Europe, and he flies people from other countries and this and that. And these guys put themselves through, you know, incredibly tough training, and the fights are incredibly tough because, you know, it's just shin on face, shin on chin, knees, elbows, you name it.
It's a nightmare. Right? It's a fucking nightmare.
These guys get paid a couple of £100 They do it for almost nothing, and then Monday morning they've got to go to work.
Yeah,
it's insane. But these guys do it for the love of martial arts, which is very different. And so to go back to your original question, I don't know why it hasn't taken off. It's a mystery. It really is.
Yeah, I think that they need to package it the right way. I think that Americans, it needs to just be sold to them the right way, and then they go, all right, cool, that's that. If like maybe the right network or the right like brand got behind it. I don't know, because I'm watching these highlights right now of Gokhan Saki. Dude, he's a monster. This is so exciting. This is more exciting than boxing, without a doubt. The fact that he can lift up his fucking leg and shin kick him in the face at any moment, it adds this whole other element of danger. And anybody watching this, you don't have to be a fight fan. You don't have to go. You don't have to understand the sweet science of this to get into it. Even with MMA, I feel like you have to be a little bit more educated to really get it. And when you watch Muay Thai or kickboxing at a high level, you're like, it's just brutal and it's super exciting. And I can't wrap my mind around.
Well, it's not Muay Thai. It's not Muay Thai because Muay Thai is very different. Although essentially Muay Thai is the same. You can kick, punch, knee, and elbow. A Muay Thai fight is very different. A Muay Thai fight starts, if you go to Thailand and watch real Muay Thai, it builds. It starts very, very slowly, and they stand in the middle of the cage and they have this music playing, and it's almost hypnotic, and they just kind of trade kicks. And as the fight progresses, it kind of builds up and it gets a bit more action. You don't really see people coming out in traditional Muay Thai blitzing people right from the opening bell.
Really?
It's weird. Yeah. It's kind of like a weird dick measuring contest. You know what I mean? You kick me as hard as you can, then I'm going to kick you back, and you kick me and I'll kick you, and then it slowly builds, and then it becomes more of an out and out brawl. Kickboxing or Western style kickboxing that incorporates the knees and elbows, like K1, like the stuff we saw in Glory kickboxing, things like that. That is super, super explosive, super exciting, super fast paced. I got to stop saying super because I sound like an asshole. As soon as the opening bell goes, boom, they're trying to kill each other. That's what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So there is a difference between traditional Thai boxing and kickboxing, but the kickboxing stuff you're talking, it is, and you're right. It's a mystery, as I said, why that never caught on. I did that for a while. I did it back in the 90s, and small shows here and there, and I went around England, and had a lot of fights. I used to wear my long, shiny black kickboxing pants, but it was full contact. I did a few tournaments as well where I had about 3 or 4 fights in one night, and so that was good experience for where I am today. But still, always small venues, with a few hundred people, maybe 1,000 people if you were lucky. Never caught on the way MMA did, which is, as you say, the best thing is a mystery. I don't know what it is. The money isn't there. The support isn't there. Obviously it's a support network from the grassroots all the way up, but it's just not there.
Yeah.
And I guess that's down to money. Money controls everything. If the demand was there, if the TV networks were willing to pay for it, because as I said, I'm not sure where Glory plays now, but Glory used to be on Spike every week, but it's not. And I'm assuming that's because the demand, people weren't tuning in, watching it every week, so therefore Spike dropped it, which is weird.
Yeah, it's very it's so funny because my son, I brought him to his first karate class. He's doing like traditional.
Yeah, no, I saw that. Yeah,
Taekwondo. So cute, dude. So cute. It's like the cutest thing in the world. But it's like there's like a weird when you go to a karate school. It's not the same type of energy where if you show up in an MMA gym, at an MMA gym, it feels like, hey man, we're ready to rock it. Like you kind of go in, it's like, there's an excitement there. There's an energy there. It almost feels like an industry. When you go into like a Taekwondo school, you feel like you're going into like an old broken down church in the 30s. And you're like, well, we're just trying to hold on, man. Like whatever we can do to kind of keep this thing moving, But
yeah, it's weird because MMA gyms, as you said now, a lot of them are these big, fancy, like modern facilities with a lot of money put into them. When I started doing martial arts when I was a kid, it was just what you described. It was like an old church hall where, the sensei had rented it out. They pay £10 rent or whatever, and they charge £2.50 per session, and hopefully they get 20 people there and they make a little bit of profit.
Was he, looking back, was he a good martial artist? Looking back at what he was teaching you? Your first, martial arts teacher?
So I started doing Yawara-Ryu Jiu-Jitsu, which was a form of Japanese Jiu-Jitsu, and that stuff was really good. Japanese Jiu-Jitsu is the original martial art. It's over 5,000 years old, and